Okay, so card of the day. Shuffle these bad boys at that table the long way. I didn't know a lot of shuffling. Eight of Wands. Okay, since I showed you the card of the day, I'll go through how I go about researching and memorizing tarot cards so that I can implement them and remember them. So one thing I like to go by is the fact that numerology is big, elemental is big, the zodiacal glyphs and things are big, and then deacons and the Picatrix and the grip and text and all these things are important things that I don't typically see on like Biddy Tarot or whatever. So well, let's get to it. So we'll go first by talking about, this is the 8, right? The 8 of Wands. So 8 is ruled by Saturn. It is associated with strength. It's actually the eighth major arcana is strength, the woman with the lion. It deals with a recycling path of energy, a desire for love and peace, and also like with Kundalini and the way that air enters and exits your body is supposedly, you know, this symbol for infinity. So wands represent how the element of fire communicates with us in and it's often represented as the upturned triangle, not the one with the line through it, or upside down with the line through it. Those are the other 3 elements. So the nomenclature, astrology, and deacons of this particular card, the Hermetic title and the Thoth, which is the Thoth and Golden Dawn, is swiftness. So these cards will often have this word depicted in somewhere in the card. The planet ruling this deacon is Mercury. The zodiac is 0 to 9 degrees Sagittarius. The planetary glyph, you know, is Mercury. It's the horned woman or Venus sign. And the zodiacal glyph is the arrow, which is Sagittarius, because Sagittarius is an archer. So the deacon from the Picatrix, it's visually... the image represented with this card is 3 bodies of men, and it does not, I haven't seen the image, I've only read it described, and it doesn't say whether they're living, dead, or whether that matters or not, like whether it's a biological thing or whatever. So one's yellow, one's white, one's red, and the significance of this is meat and heaviness, growth in plains, so I guess large-scale agriculture, fields, sustenance, and division. So I'm thinking like a divide and conquer type thing. So sustenance, to build something, and then add in a fear concept to keep control. I'm seeing that as like a balance as well. The deacon from Agrippa's 3 books of occult philosophy is a man with a coat of mail holding a naked sword in his hand. And they say that this deacon is significant. The significance of it is that boldness, malice, and liberty. So liberty and malice can go hand in hand if you think about the French Revolution, where there was a lot of anger and a lot of violence, along with the idea to give the rule to the people, because I mean the royalists made it that way, kind of forced it into by ignoring what was going on in Paris and staying in Versailles, but that's a different thing for a different day. All right, the second table, this is really interesting. So the Sabian symbols, so this is going to go through degrees 0 through 9 of this Sagittarian deacon. So there are 3 deacons in each astrological sign. This goes 0 through 9 and 10 through 19, and then 20 through 29. And so this is the first 3. And so there's actually there's an image associated with each of these degrees. So degree 0 to 1 of Sagittarius is the retired army veterans gathering to reawaken old memories. degrees 1 to 2 of Sagittarius, white-capped waves that display the power of wind over sea. 2 to 3 degrees, 2 men playing chess. 3 to 4 degrees, a small child learning to walk with its parents. And 4 to 5 degrees, an old owl sits alone on the top branch, on the branch of a large tree. 5 to 6 degrees, a game of cricket, which I don't know how old that could be. 6 to 7 degrees, Cupid knocking at the door of a human heart. 8 to 9 degrees, a mother leads a child step by step up a stairway. And 9 to 10 degrees, a theatrical representation of a golden-haired goddess of opportunity. So I guess like a Ceres, like all right, so if any of you are interested in the Kabbalistic nature, I have a couple things on that. The Tree of Life Sephira is Hod, and the traditional meaning, the Tree of Life world, the traditional meaning is glory, and the Tree of Life world word is Azilith. And the color associated with the world in the Tree of Life is violet purple. Deities associated with the number are the gods of knowledge, so Saturn and probably Jupiter, well, Mercury, that is a god of learning and knowledge. So the Papa's dialect, which I'm going to have to look up what that is exactly, says this card represents the opposition of equilibrium, which is what I've been talking about a lot with the balance, and like, especially from political context, like swinging back from moderate to very extreme fundamentalist based like ideas. So the significance is order, discipline, accomplishment, leadership, success, and mastery. Now remember, we're talking about a card here. So what I thought was really interesting is how the planets interact zodiacally with Sagittarius. So as the card of the day in one of my books, it says it's great tasks require great effort. In this case, more intuition and awareness. So Mercury as a planet, it represents thinking, communication, all faculties of the mind, meaning logic, intelligence, reading, education. Its tool is language, and its method is transmittal. So it is very much based on having others around. Saturn as a god or a planet is the celestial taskmaster. It's about responsibility, rules, and regulations. Self-discipline is where this comes from Saturn. Self-respect, concerned with lessons and duties and limitations. It represents authority figures when you're younger, and it represents yourself as an authority when you're older. Responsible for lasting achievements as a triumph over obstacles, so like beating addiction or anything like that. It's a teacher of the zodiac, so with many lessons to impart about safety and security. So wherever Saturn falls in one's chart, that's where serious effort and approach will be made in their life. So if it falls like in your family side, your charter, and your career side, or whatever, love, whatever. So both of these planets in Sagittarius specifically, though. So Saturn in Sagittarius can bring ideas into reality through its capacity for intellectual discipline. This energy can bring anything to life and apply their lessons to all aspects of life. The armchair philosopher, observation, thinking, and reflecting. Take heart to patience and perseverance. It's like what I read would be what the suggestion would be is just to take heart to patience and perseverance. So Mercury in Sagittarius is frank, open-minded, may speak before thinking, lives to learn, and quick and explore new ideas, but might not stick around to see it through. It is a seeking mind and almost childlike in discovery. So when I'm reading, and this is before I did any of this research, I already know all of this, so I wrote down just a couple things that I usually try to keep in mind when I'm reading this card. So when interpreting, depending on where it is located in your spread, it can represent speed, action, quick change, news arrives abruptly. So that's kind of like nights is usually abrupt news or quick news. So sudden success, rapid changes or rapid communication, quick action, and perseverance. It often represents repetition and tend to fall into the valley type moment. So it's like in that moment where you are getting closure from one thing and beginning a new cycle. So the card doesn't typically depict a human, so therefore it could represent a certain perspective of your ego, like a perspective that your ego is taken. So in the negative, this could also promote loss of self. So it points to much movement in your life, a ladder or scale of similar interests and parallel developments. One can achieve much when losing sight of self, or one builds a bridge between heaven and earth and learns how to work within the two. So this is definitely about living with balance and focusing on it, and also keeping one's head down and sticking with things even when they're not fun, is really how I'm seeing this apply to my life specifically. So I would love to know if you guys have anything to say or anything else, but thanks for listening.